race fans, and welcome to the midway point of the season. It is All-Star Race Weekend for Season 3 of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. And tonight we kick things off with our qualifying race for the All-Star Race. It's technically the last racing opportunity that drivers have to make their way into the All-Star Race event. We also do have the fan vote, but that will be announced near the beginning of the All-Star Race main event. Here this evening, this is actually a very small field for drivers trying to make it into the All-Star Race. Only a total of 16 drivers will be taking the green flag for the All-Star Open. 2 will advance. We are headed for, I think, what might be close to the biggest All-Star Race field we've had in a long time, and I think it'll definitely be the biggest that we've had in the Duracell Cup Series. 24 drivers at this point have already locked themselves into the All-Star Race grid, and of course, as I mentioned, 2 more will join them after this evening's event, finishing first and second in the Open, and of course, another driver will get in via the fan vote. We've got some interesting names here in this field as well, though. If you look through, you got Matthew Rodriguez on the outside of the front row here with Adam Garcia starting on the pole. Matt Rod, a former winner back at Arizona in Season 1. Let's document the rest of them in a minute. Let's quickly get the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
But you got a lot of other former winners in this field as well. William Brock is back there in the 88. You got Michael Norman, who was a 2-time winner last season, but both of his dirt track wins came during the first half of the regular season, so he qualified for last year's All-Star Race, but not this year's. Some other former winners, Mitchell Collins, who won back at Season 1 at Kansas. You've got Keith Batson back there, who won in Season 1 back at Richmond. Jordan Lopez is back there in the 38, and he had a win last year, but much like Michael Norman, his win came during the first half of the regular season. Same can be said for his teammate T Wright, who won at Manassas back in Season 2, but that was the second race of the season, and so he qualified only for the race, All-Star Race in Season 2. Same for K Mathews. He won at ISM last season, but again, that was before last year's All-Star Race. So there's a lot of big names and a lot of former winners in this field, not only from Season 1, but also from last season's first half that did not make it into this season's All-Star Race and will have to rely here on the Open to make their way into that prestigious event. A lot of rookies here as well that we'll be keeping an eye on. Cole Deaver, A Macklin, A Kolano, Phil Parker, Charles Belding, as well as Patrick Smith. They have not made it into the All-Star Race. There are quite a number of rookies that did with winning races this season. Who's going to finish first? Who's going to finish second? 30 laps will tell us the tale as the green flag is out. Let's roll in the All-Star Open at Charlotte. You also look here, and there's a lot of drivers from different teams that haven't made it into the All-Star Race yet. 2 of the Young Motorsports cars here, the 12 and the 22. A couple of the S3 Motorsports cars, the 08 and 09. As well as Backmarker Motorsports has 2 of their cars in this All-Star Open. The 42 of Vince Almariego currently out in front, and the 91 of Charles Belding. Both of the KAB Racing Enterprises machines are currently in this All-Star Open. The 39 of Batson, the 93 of Macklin, and also Michael Norman Motorsports only currently have 1 of their entries in the All-Star Race. Last week's winner from Fuel Motorsports Park, Cody Lamas, is Michael Norman's going to go for the lead. He and rookie teammate A Kolano are in the All-Star Open. They're 3 wide coming off turn 4 here. That's one thing that we always keep an eye on when we come to Charlotte, is if they're going to give each other enough room in a 3-wide situation coming off the final corner. Looks like so far they're doing a good job. Garcia's the man in the middle as Macklin goes to the lead, slides up in front. Or, I'm sorry, that's Keith Batson, rather, slides up in front of Michael Norman. It's hard to tell those 2 apart sometimes. And now Kolano's going to go to the race lead. Oh, this is tight off this corner. I don't like the look of this. They're crowding each other, and Norman's going to go around off the nose of Belding. Back up in front of traffic, collects A Macklin, T Wright, Patrick Smith, K Mathews, and Matthew Rodriguez pounds the outside wall hard with the passenger side. First caution of the evening, involving about 6 drivers. You can see him right there. Belding also got a piece of it in the 91. And I don't know if Collins maybe got a piece also, or if he just slowed up in time, lost track position trying to avoid the wreck. William Brock took the lead. That caution came out before the leader had hit the start-finish line. Brock beat Kolano to the line, so he'll be the leader here under our first yellow. If you look back here, some of these guys sustained some pretty significant damage. Michael Norman's car actually, I think, went up in the air for a brief moment after the hit from Belding. And we'll see if any of these drivers are able to continue. I think Norman might have actually been trying to get to pit road, but he got blocked in. Matthew Rodriguez didn't let him in. Aaron Macklin and T Wright, though, they're going to bring their Mustangs to the pit lane, and we'll see if either of them can get their cars repaired and back out there. I mean, obviously, you have to finish first and second to advance, but just because these guys ran into trouble doesn't mean that everybody else in this race are not going to find some kind of issue. So even with a damaged race car, if you keep going, you may have a ghost of a shot. Looks like they're going to try and get those cars repaired. So let's go back and see what happened off turn 4 for our first caution of the day. I believe it officially came out on lap 3. Here it was coming off of 4. Looks like it started with Charles Belding. I think Belding may have gotten his 2 left sides down on that paint line. Crowded Adam Garcia up, and then Garcia gets Michael Norman left rear quarter panel. See, the Matthew Rodriguez right side of your screen went through the grass off the nose of Mitchell Collins. And that's the one problem about the D-shaped front straightaway. The car that goes down is going to more than likely come back up into traffic. He collects Macklin, Mathews, T Wright. Going to get it pretty good there with the right front. There you see Matthew Rodriguez up top of your screen came back through the grass up and into the wall. And I think the 77 of Patrick Smith may have gotten through all of this relatively unscathed. Good job by the rookie. Let's actually take an onboard with him. He was running right at the very back of the pack, so let's see on board the Gatorade Toyota Camry what he saw in his maneuvering through this wreck. Little contact there with the right side. But compared to the damage sustained by a lot of these others, he got through that pretty doggone well. We should be getting the 1 to green signal this time around. William Brock out in front. Kolano in second. Phil Parker, who I believe started this race from the 15th position, which doesn't sound like much, but that was next to last in the field. He's going to restart in third. Jordan Lopez there in fourth. I think, if I recall correctly, I think he started this race from dead last in 16th. So 15th and 16th have been able to work their way up to third and fourth. Keith Batson currently in 5th, and the rest of your top 10 currently would be Cole Deaver, pole sitter Adam Garcia, Vince Almariego, Charles Belding, and Matthew Rodriguez. But remember that both Belding and Rodriguez got little pieces of that wreck. And another thing that kind of surprised me too is as we look here towards the rear of the field, the only 2 drivers that did come to pit road were Macklin and Wright. And it looks like they've done a pretty good job repairing both of those race cars. Those 2 might actually still be up to speed. I'm a little concerned about this one. I don't know why they didn't bring Michael Norman to pit road to try and repair that race car. He's still got the buckle on the hood. He's got rear, front, right, and left side damage. I mean, that car is completely mangled up on all sides. I don't see at a track where such high speeds are gained how aerodynamic that car is going to be. I don't know about Kyle Mathews as well. He's got, I believe, both left and right side damage, and neither one of these cars came to pit road. And we saw Matthew Rodriguez pound the outside wall pretty good with the right side of his Chevrolet. So we'll see if these guys are up to speed or not. Kind of a gutsy call, I think, here. Of course, it is a non-points event, so maybe they're feeling that if they come to pit road, they're going to find out there's more damage than they expected, and they would have to bring it to the garage area, and they think they don't want to do that. So we'll see what happens here. Still a long ways to go. We're about to get the green flag with 13 laps remaining. Sorry, 13 laps remaining in this race, and I still think these drivers are going to have to make a green flag pit stop, or at least a pit stop before this race is over. None of the leaders pitted here under this early caution as the green flag is back in the air for William Brock. Talked about all these different drivers, all the different teams that are here in the open. Well, for William Brock, he is the only one of the Northeast Motorsports cars that has not advanced to the All-Star race yet. Austin LaPlante as well as Nathan Hudson and Jacob Thibodeau. They all currently are locked into the All-Star Race event, so trying to make it 4 for 4 for the Chevrolet team is Brock, but he's got a lot of cars down. It's inside, and we got a wreck. Phil Parker's around. Lopez, Garcia, and the whole track's going to get blocked up again, and they're still wrecking. Continuing to wreck down into the exit of the Tri-Oval front straightaway. And that didn't take long for yet another yellow flag. More damage sustained by Charles Belding. Kolano, Phil Parker caught up in this one. Norman got another piece. Lopez, pole sitter Garcia. And I can't tell if these guys are racing back or not. That time Patrick Smith didn't get through unscathed. We've only got about maybe 4 or 5 cars in this field that don't have any damage. The race leader has damage. William Brock's got a pretty good donut on the left side of his Cinevis banking Chevrolet Camaro. So another caution, and we haven't even gotten a third of the way through. Let's go back and see what happened. Looks very similar to what happened with the first wreck. Watch the 39 of Keith Batson. He's going to get down there on the apron just a little bit. He may have gotten forced down there by Jordan Lopez. And then car comes back up. He gets Lopez up into William Brock and Kolano. You see Batson go through the grass after spinning out Phil Parker. Vince Almariego got a piece of that as he goes through the grass. Belding never lifted. Ran straight into the 12 of Garcia. And then you see right there, Patrick Smith is going to hook Matthew Rodriguez. That's going to cause the wreck further up. There's Michael Norman getting involved. It's the second time trying to avoid a wreck that Matthew Rodriguez has been hooked. The first time was off the nose of Mitchell Collins, and this time it's off the nose of Patrick Smith as he then goes down, bounces off the passenger side door of T Wright. And Macklin's going to get through. Somebody else spun up there as well. That's Collins in the 22. What happened to him? Well, he's going to get hooked off the nose of K Mathews. He was checking up for K Deaver ahead of him. Mathews didn't lift. Hooked him in the right rear, and Collins noses it straight up into that safer barrier. The worst place to cause damage to your race car, especially at a track like this, is the front. And so that was definitely not the kind of a hit that Mitchell Collins wanted to take. So we had only about maybe 6 cars involved in the first wreck. I'd say we had upwards of 10, maybe 12. There may have been only about 3 or 4 drivers that got through that whole thing unscathed, because that was right up at the front of the field. And it's our second caution of the evening already here in the All-Star Open. Now the green flag will come back out. We'll have to see about that left side damage sustained by William Brock, how up to speed he's going to be. There is one driver out of the race, 2 for 2 and getting involved in wrecks this evening. Michael Norman will not be advancing to the All-Star race through the Opens, so now he'll have to rely on the fan vote. And you know, probably a thing that some people are asking is, why have we had such early cautions? Well, let's remember 2 things. Number 1, this is a non-points event. With no points on the line, drivers are going to make more aggressive moves than they would knowing that it's a points-paying race and that a championship is on the line near the end of the season. All they're fighting for right now is an opportunity to get into the All-Star race so they can have a chance at $1 million. Right now, they are not in the running for that $1 million. So they're obviously trying to fight their way up to the front with everybody being as close as they are on these restarts. The second thing as well, as you noticed, it's very difficult to hold on to the race lead. The way that this rules package works, the draft is huge, and the way that drivers are able to get runs is huge. And so they want to take and keep that momentum. They don't want to lift and lose the momentum they gain trying to make a pass for position. So the willingness to lift is not there, and that's, I think, a big reason why we're having some of these hairy situations off turn 4 and causing these early wrecks. Keith Batson to the inside of William Brock. Now, I don't know if this is because Keith got a good run or if that 88 is indeed feeling the effects of that left side damage, but Batson goes to the lead. Now he slides up there in turn 3. That opens the door down low. Here comes Vince Almariego in the 42. K Deaver in the 08. It's like K Mathews, the damage he has sustained, getting involved in the first wreck. And Patrick Smith's damage from the second wreck has not really affected them. They're in 4th and 5th. Right now, you got this battle here for the lead. Now, remember, if we get closer to the end of the race, I don't know how much of a battle we'd have between 1st and 2nd for the lead and eventually the win. Because, remember, first and second place are going to advance into the All-Star race. William Brock now 3 wide on the bottom with K Mathews and K Batson. That was another one of those treacherous-looking 3 wide formations off of turn 4, but they made it through as Deaver now gets pushed to the lead. Maybe pushed up the track a little there. Patrick Smith's going to go to his inside. And you're seeing these drivers sliding up the track. Why is that happening? Well, they're getting such a big push into the corner. They're carrying more momentum than they want to, and then they have to move up. They slide up the track with all that momentum. They have to lift a lot more, and that's what loses them positions. William Brock lost the lead on that last restart, but he's going to fight right back to the front and take it back. So that car does not look like he is affected at all by his damage as Batson now peeks to the inside. And I don't like the way these guys look back here. This looks like another wreck waiting to happen. We are now past the halfway point, but we've worked 2 cautions already. Oh my goodness, please don't stick your nose under there, Macklin. He didn't. Okay, we're all right. Still got a lot of drivers up here in this pack, though, too, that even though the damage they've sustained looks pretty significant, they're still up to speed. Jordan Lopez with no rear end, he's up in this pack. Matthew Rodriguez, he's been involved in both of the wrecks so far. Phil Parker, T Wright, Mitchell Collins, Adam Garcia, they're all still up here in the hunt. We do have some drivers, though, that look like they've kind of made an early exit. Oh, man, that was tight there in the middle of 3 and 4 between Mathews and Macklin. We almost had a wreck before we even got to turn 4. Kind of don't want to miss any of the stuff that's going on up here because I think we're maybe going to see another wreck. Charles Belding's off the pace. And that could be an issue if they catch him before this race is over. Kolano right now in 14th appears to still be just at the very tail end of the pack. But I don't know if he's necessarily up to speed. You can hear the engine, the idling engine of Charles Belding up ahead. It all depends on where the leaders catch him, and this could really split our field up too if they catch him in the wrong place. It could also lead to a wreck if they catch him in the wrong place. You can just see him there. He's just now going into turn 3 as the field is exiting out of turn 2. Belding's topping out around 155. The leaders are going about 180. Oh, this could be a wreck right here. Lopez, Macklin, and Almariego bouncing off each other 3 wide. They keep it together somehow. Boy, looked like our trouble spot was off turn 4, but they're running each other out of room even before we get to turn 4. Right in the middle of turns 3 and 4, and they have caught Belding, and it's going to be over in 3 and 4. Oh my goodness, where do they go? They're all going to try and duck low. Let's keep an eye on this because this could lead to a wreck off turn 4 if they're not careful. Rodriguez is going to get by. Mathews tries to duck to the inside. He almost chopped off Macklin. It's not the first time those two have made contact here this evening. Looks like they all might get by Belding safely here through 1 and 2. Boy, that was a close call. Here comes Lopez trying to make a move. This is for second. 3 wide, puts Smith in the middle, Brock up top side. Will they give each other enough room off of 4? They do. Smith almost put Brock in the wall. Lopez almost came up the track into the both of them. And now we'll see if these guys from 5th place on back can draft back up as Batson, who's got the cleanest car in the field right now, out in front showing the way. The dogfight now is for the final transfer position, 2nd place. And maybe these drivers won't have to pit. Maybe they were close. Maybe if we had gone green for the entirety of the race, they might have had to pit. But maybe having the aid of those 2 cautions, they were able to save enough to be able to, enough fuel to be able to make it the rest of the way. Cole Deaver's car looks relatively clean, and he just made some moves there on Adam Garcia and K Mathews. He's only been able to work his way so far up to the 7th spot. We'll see if he's going to be able to catch these guys as Patrick Smith currently in the 2nd position behind Batson. Battle now for 3rd between Lopez and Brock. As we will hit 7 laps to go this next time around. Lopez looks to clear. Looks like he's not quite yet clear on the 88. Matthew Rodriguez right there waiting to see which lane opens up. I think Lopez is going to get the 3rd spot here. He will. Drives it in deep into turn 1. Now he'll try and close in on the 77 to try and find a way to transfer into the All-Star race after starting dead last in the grid. and getting involved in the second caution of the evening. Keith Batson might not want to look in his rearview mirror. Patrick Smith is right there. And Lopes is going to make the move for second instead on the 77. Takes a little pressure off Batson. Ooh, William Brock nearly ran into the back of Lopes going into turn 1. And now Vince Almariego makes a move on Matthew Rodriguez for the 5th position. Lopes, Brock, Smith, three-way battle for second. Right now, Keith Batson in control of a transfer position, not a playoff position. And the battle continues for second place, it looks like here. Lopes opened the door down low. William Brock's willing to stick his foot in. And here comes Vince Almariego in the 42 as well. Uh-oh. Oh, I thought I heard Belding up ahead. I don't know. They might catch him before the race is over. He could still play a factor yet. Almariego sticks it down low. Got down on the apron. Lopes, little contact there between himself and Brock as he almost went up the track into the wall. And Almariego had to lift as Brock's going to move into second. Now Almariego sticks his nose in. Brock gets a little tight there through the center of the corner, slides up the track, opens the door. Here comes K Deaver as well in the 08. The two cleanest cars on the track right now look like the 39 and the 08. Even Almariego, who looks like his car is relatively clean, has right side damage, but he is now up to second. 3 laps to go here at Charlotte. They're fighting for the top 2 positions. Almariego is going to go for the lead. That's the last thing Keith Batson wanted to have happen, because now he could get freight trained on that outside line. Almariego to the point. Deaver moves into second. Now he wants the race lead off turn 4, and they're closing in on Belding. 2 laps to go. They're going to catch him on the front stretch. Where do they go? Oh, goodness, they had to crowd each other there, and Almariego's going to get held up. Deaver's going to break away. Batson gets held up on the top side, as do Rodriguez and Brock. Deaver is gone. The battle is now for second. Almariego has it. Smith wants it. Can they catch Deaver before we get to the checkered flag? They might. They're closing in on him again. White flag's in the air. 1 more lap to go here in the open. Who's going to win? Who's going to finish second? Smith drives it in deep to turn 1. Deaver left the door open. A Macklin right there. Can he get to the inside of Deaver for second place? Deaver's going to cross down in front, try and block and hold that second position. Rookies 1 and 2. Smith through turns 3 and 4, looking for the checkers. Patrick Smith's going to win. K Deaver's going to finish second. They transfer into the All-Star race through the open. All those veteran names in this field that we documented. And it ends up being 2 rookies that will transfer from the Open to the All-Star race. Patrick Smith out of Auto Junction Racing. K Deaver out of S3 Motorsports. They will start 25th and 26th for the All-Star race. And that brings our grand total, I believe, up to 6 rookies that will be battling for the All-Star race. $1 million. Nathan Hudson, Jacob Thibodeau. And I believe there were 2 other rookie winners this season. I'm trying to remember who they were. And I can't think of them off the top of my head. It's either 5 or 6 rookies that are going to be in the All-Star race, though, including the 2 that transfer here this evening. Smith and Deaver. A Macklin was so close. He and Vince Almariego actually had a photo finish between themselves for 3rd, but 3rd is the first loser in this type of a format. Lopes in 5th, Mathews 6th. I mean, for all these guys here, it really doesn't matter where they finished because it doesn't equal a automatic trip into the All-Star race. Now all these guys, Macklin, Almariego, Lopes, Mathews, Batson, Garcia, Brock, Collins, Kolano, Wright, Rodriguez, Parker, Belding, and Norman, they have to rely on the fan vote in order to get the 27th and final spot in this season's All-Star race. Only other thing that they can maybe take away from this is, you know, some of this stuff they experienced with the rules package, how damaged their cars were, with how up to speed they were. They can maybe apply some of this to the Coke 600 next week, but that's really the only other good thing that these drivers can take away from the situation. But Patrick Smith and Cole Deaver, they will be taking part in the All-Star race. The field has now grown from 24 to 26 drivers, and of course, our 27th driver will be announced, our fan vote winner, at the All-Star race event tomorrow. So hope you guys can tune in for that. Yeah, you guys are getting a double header here this weekend. Tonight's race here for the All-Star Open, and then tomorrow you get the All-Star race. Not normal that we get 2 Duracell Cup Series races in the same weekend, but with it being All-Star race weekend, you guys get a little special treat. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's All-Star Open, though. Boy, if this is any indication, we are in for a doozy of an All-Star race tomorrow. No doubt about that. If you enjoyed tonight's race, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew today. We have shown you full finished results, and we will see you guys tomorrow for the All-Star race event. No points, just purse and pride. Gonna be a wild one. Till then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching the Production Areas Rate, offline racing at its best. We'll see you guys tomorrow.